Hi, Crystal here from ChristaCoDesign. Today I'm going to show you how to do a mattress seam to join your crochet pieces. I am using my pumpkin hat, which is worked in a rectangle, and uses the third loop half double crochet, which creates this beautiful ribbing. So I'm just going to take my piece and fold it in half, match up the two ends that you want to seam. For this hat, it's row 1 and the last row. And I am going to sew it together, matching up stitch for stitch. Excuse me. I'm using my yarn needle and a length of yarn. I kept my yarn attached to my project and just cut off a longish piece. I usually go for at least double the amount of double the number of inches I'm going to seam, just so I have plenty and plenty to weave in. All right, so matching up my stitches. My very first stitch, I'm going to, I have my tail here I didn't work over. I'll have to weave that in. So I'm going to come around this way under my first stitch, 2 loops there. That's my starting chain, and then 2 loops on the last stitch here of my last row. Just pull that through. Okay, now I'm going to go back and forth in a zigzag motion. Okay, going through the next stitch underneath the 2 loops, across through 2 loops on the other side. These are my starting chain loops, so they look a little different than my regular stitches, and then back through on that same side, matching up my stitch here, just zigzag through. I want to pull them too tight but snugly. Now here we have an even stitch count on both sides, so it should match up quite easily, and we'll be able to tell if we get off and we can realign it. Sometimes you might have to seam something less even. In that case, you can always do 1 stitch on one side and then go through the next stitch and back through that same stitch. And again, if you don't pull things too tightly, it will be, yarn is stretchy, so it'll lay flat. That is not the case in this, but sometimes seaming 2 pieces that aren't exactly equal, or the sides where you don't have an easy stitch to go through. Okay, so I just keep doing that back and forth, and then when we get to the end, I will lock it in place. All right, so I have come to the very last stitch that I'm seaming together. I've got my needle stuck in there for you. So I'm going to turn it just so you can see here. And just like I did the first stitch, I'm going to lock it in place by going through the same stitch twice. I'm going through it once, and then I'm going to go back around this way. Here I'm going to be careful not to split my yarn. That complicates things. There you go. So then you just have a little lock there. And then you can weave in your cut and weave in your end and trim off the little pieces. And I have a nice tube for my hat. Here's my seam, which creates a nice flat join. If I flip on the other side, you can see it there. So I kind of like this side for my seam with this pattern, because when you put it on, you see if it bumps up a little. It looks very similar to our ribbing effect, which is just pretty cool, because not all seams do that. All right, and that's the easy peasy mattress stitch. It's a really nice one to use when you're seaming things together on clothing items, hats, anything crochet. Thanks for watching.